This is It Was a Thing on TV.
Spoiler number one is Dr. Lee frowns. It stinks.
What is going on? What is going on?
Episode 130. Submission number 419. It Was a Thing on TV with trading cards. Well, guys, I don't know how big into trading cards Chico is. I know he's got his own little collections related to television shows and movies and pop culture. His Funko Pops and his excuse me if I'm saying too much, his Doctor Who pajamas.
I'm proud of my Doctor Who onesie. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and he's actually worn that.
That was a gift from my dear sister, who I love very much. Thank you very much.
Who doesn't like Kiesla?
I can hear her in the background.
Yeah, you can totally. Yeah, that's her screaming in the background, by the way. There you go.
Does she still need an update on Herb Abrams?
No, she doesn't need an update on her.
I was just going to ask the same thing. Does she still want to know about Herb Abrams?
No, she doesn't want to know about Herb Abrams.
Okay, well, we'll file that away then.
Yeah.
But, so yeah, Chico has his loves and his collectibles. Yeah, don't get him started about Doctor Who and Funko Pops and all that. But Greg and I, we have enjoyed collecting cards for, probably easily over 20 years. Me, even longer than that, probably closer to like 30 years.
These. Again, these two.
Chico's just showing us the Doctor Who scarves, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
continue, Mike.
How did your Doctor Who onesie come up?
Thank you, Kiesla. Oh my gosh, she derailed me there. So Greg and I have enjoyed collecting cards, primarily sports cards, for 20, 25, 30 years. But we decided that we'd take a venture into TV trading cards.
Yeah.
They're very big nowadays, in case you don't know.
Yeah, they are. I mean, they're like a multi-million-dollar business, these trading cards. And anything television related, I guess someone a few years ago decided, hey, nerds have big pockets.
Well, not just nerds. Primarily, we'll get into contemporary card sets a little bit later, because the hobby and what's available nowadays was not available 15 years ago. Or even closer to 20 years ago. Yeah, the hobby has changed so much in the 21st century that if you're a true diehard of some of these shows or genres, you may want to invest a little bit of money, and in some cases a lot of money, on some of the sets that we will be talking about. Or, yeah, we'll say some of the sets. Doing a little bit of research, as I occasionally do for this show, I was wondering when the first non-sports cards were available, more or less movie cards. And what I found was the closest to trading cards based on movies actually went back to 1920.
Whoa!
They're like little, almost like gallery cards or art cards, sort of like what you'd have outside the movie theater. And some of the names, I mean, they're big at that time, 100 years later, maybe not as memorable, but still, names that you'd know. Fatty Arbuckle, Mary Pickford. And yeah, these are on eBay. That you can purchase one. I didn't really take a look at the prices, but it's looked like the first cards of actors and actresses go all the way back to 1920 and 21. So this is like a centennial show, kind of.
Yeah,
sort of.
because they all go back to those old cigarette cards, don't they?
Well, that's where all the old baseball cards come from, is tobacco cards, and the reason the Honus Wagner T206 from 1909 is so expensive is because he was staunchly anti-smoking, and lo and behold, a few of his heart cards got released without his permission, and now if you find one, even if it's torn up and horrible shape, it's worth $1 million or $2 million.
Yeah. There's a famous story of Wayne Gretzky buying that card for $500,000 in 91.
Wayne Gretzky and Bruce McCall, the Kings owner, they had split ownership, and that got sold somewhere down the line. But nowadays, I mean, that card, I think even like 15 years ago, sold for $3 million. And they come up occasionally. It seems like the newer sports cards are sort of overshadowing the older cards, like the Mike Trout 1-of-1 rookie card that went for like $4 million. And then I just saw this a couple of days ago. It was a Mickey Mantle rookie card. I think it was the 1952 Topps, and it was graded like 9, like a PSA 9, which is amazing. Went for over $5 million.
Wow.
Oh.
I was going to ask you to explain that, but you just gave a perfect explanation. $5 million.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, if you have any of the Mantle rookie cards in decent shape, ungraded, they're probably 50, 60, up to $100,000. But once you get it graded, especially if you get it graded really high, but the thing is, 70 years ago, when trading cards first came out, baseball cards, they weren't really taking care of them. And actually, I'm going to give you an example of that when I talk about the first, again, what I think are the first TV trading cards. And I can't find anything earlier. The set I'm talking about was made by Bowman back in 1953, and it was a set of TV and radio cards for NBC. And you can find them on eBay. And we're not doing eBay prices right, at least with that. But some of these cards, if you take a look, and I actually sent my cohorts a checklist of the 96 cards in the series, with their approximate prices based on condition. And there's some really popular names in here. There's also some very oddball names that I actually had to look up to see who they are, what are their claims to fame. You had Bob Elliott and Ray Goulding, who they were a big comedy team. They hosted Two for the Money for a while. And Bob Elliott, he's going to pop up eventually when we cover Get a Life, because he played Chris Elliott's dad. His real life dad played him on TV. And other names on the list. I mean, these are big names. And again, this is from 1953, before they really, I think, hit it big, depending on the names. Ralph Edwards, who we all know from Truth or Consequences. Jim Backus.
Yes.
Mr. Magoo and
Mr. Howell.
And Thurston Howell. Yep. A person who just passed away in the last year, Carl Reiner.
Oh, yeah.
So you're talking about, that was 70 years before he died, or almost 70 years, and he had a trading card. I think that's just absolutely amazing. And he just passed in the last year. Obviously, NBC back in the 50s, Groucho Marx.
Of course.
And it looks like he's actually one of the most expensive cards in the set. I'll go over the most expensive cards a little bit later, because there's actually a little story here about cards back in the 50s. Dinah Shore was in there. You had Audrey Meadows.
Oh.
Really?
McDonald Carey.
The voice of Days of Our Lives. Yes.
Yes, the voice of Days of Our Lives. I can see the hourglass in my mind.
Like suns through the hourglass.
Those
so are the days of our lives.
And then Bud Collyer, which is interesting because Bud Collyer, he would have been CBS for Beat the Clock. I'm guessing Superman, the work he did on there, would have been NBC, possibly?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, because he was doing the radio version, right?
Yeah.
Sid Caesar, another big name. Cliff Arquette, who we all know as Charlie Weaver.
Yes.
Yeah, George Fenneman had a card. Yeah, if Groucho had a card, he had to have George Fenneman.
The one, the only Groucho. Oh, yeah.
Fred Muggs had a card.
Oh, yeah.
The monkey had a card.
The monkey from Today's Show had a card in the set.
Our main man, Mr. J. Fred Muggs, who, seriously, folks, we're not joking. J. Fred Muggs is still with us. That's a true story.
J. Fred Muggs may be the only person still alive from this set. Yeah, I know it's been 70 years later, and even if they were 20 at the time, they'd be 90 now.
He'd be eating processed bananas by now.
Smushed bananas. Arnold Stang is on here.
Yes.
And there's only one reason I mentioned Arnold Stang.
Yeah, Top Cat.
Because he was the the voice of Top Cat on Top Cat, and everybody knows Top Cat is my cartoon version of Wings.
We learned that last week.
Yes, we did. That's why I had to repeat it. That's why I chose it. Jack Barry had a card.
Oh,
Jack Barry had a card in this set.
1953, he would be doing... gosh, what would
21 wouldn't have been on yet.
No, yeah, 21's still a few ways away. It's like, what would he be doing in 1953?
He probably would have been doing... He would have been doing smaller shows, I think.
Yeah, he has that sort of robust radio voice.
Was Winky Dink and You on in 53?
Yes, I think we found it.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Winky Dink and You was on in 53, absolutely. And then just quickly, a couple more names. Imogene Coca, we mentioned Sid Caesar earlier. There's Imogene Coca. Bob Hope. Bob Hope had a card.
Of course, because... Bob Hope for a long time was Mr. NBC.
There's a number of cards that are technically considered non-common, and by non-common it doesn't necessarily mean they're famous. We'll get to that in a second and the reasoning behind that. Bob Hope is a $500 card, and then Sid Caesar's a $200 card, and Groucho is also a $500 card. But the little anomaly here is Jack Lasculi. He's for a $400 card in mint condition. And Dan Gibson is also a $400 card in mint condition. And you may be saying to yourself, well, who is Jack Lasculi and who is Dan Gibson? And what makes their cards so expensive? Well, Jack Lasculi was an announcer for NBC back in the day, and actually hosted a game show, doing a little bit of research again. And one episode, it sounds like one episode aired, and it got canceled. And that's not You're in the Picture, but a different show. And then Dan Gibson was a photographer. It sounds like he was sort of like Marlon Perkins light. So not really two well-known names, but the reason they're $400 a piece, you got to remember, again, talking 1953, almost 70 years ago, they didn't have the storage methods that we have nowadays. Well, they had shoe boxes, obviously, but not card collecting shoe boxes where you can put them in columns and stuff like that. And what the people would do is people would put rubber bands around the cards. And what cards are on the outside of the pack of cards? If you put them in order, the first card in the set, which is Jack Lasculi, and the last card in the set, which was Dan Gibson. So those cards would typically not be in the best condition because it's the first card and the last card, and you have rubber bands holding them together. It's going to compress them, obviously, and it's not going to be anywhere near mint condition.
Yeah, plus you're going to have that awkward sort of indents on the sides, you know?
Right, and that's going to take down the card's value. So if you didn't have Jack Lasculi and Dan Gibson at the top and bottom of your stack, respectively, they're probably in halfway decent shape.
Probably.
But then those weren't TV show specific cards, and we're going to sort of go all over the place in this episode. From what I saw, the first card series about a specific TV show, and just a specific TV show, was back in 1958. Topps released a card set based on the TV show Zorro with Guy Williams.
I'm guessing this was before Lost in Space.
Oh yeah, definitely 1958, definitely, yes. And there's actually a number of examples on eBay if you were to look for those. I mean, they're not terribly inexpensive cards, but also, again, given they're 60 plus years old, they weren't necessarily stored the way that we'd store your Shaquille O'Neal rookie card nowadays, or your Mike Trout rookie cards. It probably had been sitting in the open air or sitting in a box or in an attic for 30, 40, 50 years. And then lo and behold, cleaning out the attic, oh my gosh, there's all these trading cards from back in the 50s. And then also talking about 1958, it's not a specific TV show, but a whole genre was made into a trading card set.
Really? I'm guessing it being the 50s, maybe the Western?
You hit it right on the nose. In 1958, there was a series devoted just to Westerns. Yeah, because Westerns were big at the time, and that was also another Topps release. So you had shows like The Californians. You had, I believe, there was a Gunsmoke card in there.
High Chaparral.
Oh, High Chaparral, Tales of Wells Fargo. So yeah, Topps knew how to make money. Oh, what's popular in late 50s television? Yeah, obviously you had your comedies and you had dramas, but the big thing that pulled in viewers were the Westerns. But then we get to the 60s and 70s and 80s and 90s, and really the 70s is where it really exploded, where if you had a popular TV show, there was a trading card set made. Talking like Partridge Family. Now, Partridge Family, mind you, is almost 50 years old, but they had a series of trading cards. And I'd actually be remiss if I didn't mention that in 1959, the Three Stooges had trading cards released. Yes, they're kind of movie-ish, but also at the same time, they've been on television for decades. So I'm giving them a pass, and I'm putting them in this list. The Three Stooges. And the thing is, taking a look at the Three Stooges cards, there were even cards of Curly in there. And the thing is, Curly had died, I think, in 48. So he actually had posthumous cards in this 1959 set.
I have to ask if they had a set with Shemp and Curly Joe.
You see, I didn't go digging far enough for that. They probably did, just for completeness sake, but no, I saw Curly and it's like, okay, that's interesting that he'd have a card even though he had been deceased for a decade at the time. I mean, they do it nowadays with baseball cards. Last year, there was a very short printed Babe Ruth card of him signing baseballs, and Babe Ruth, he's been deceased for well over 70 years. So it's not unprecedented by any means. It's definitely, I would say, the first time that's happened. I've never seen any sort of Babe Ruth cards from Topps in 51 or 52, and sometimes I think the closest case we get to that is when Roberto Clemente passed away. And if you don't know how Roberto Clemente passed away, he died in a very honorable fashion, helping out his homeland, Puerto Rico.
After an earthquake.
Yeah. And on the plane flight, the plane crashed. And I think he had a card the following year only because the card sets generally get released a little bit before this time of year, January of each year. It may have been something that was released in December or January of December of 72, I believe, or January of 73. And he would have either passed just after that or just before that. I don't have the exact date with me. But so that's the only case where, okay, the player died, but the thing is the player died of unfortunate circumstances after the cards had already been made or the plates had already been made, the printing plates. But so getting back to the 70s, if you had like a big TV show, you had a trading card out there, a set of trading cards. And we talked about some of them before we went on the air. And you had Happy Days had trading cards. And the Gong Show had trading cards.
I've seen Three's Company and Mork and Mindy trading cards.
Oh, Mork and Mindy. Yeah, Mork and Mindy. Well, they would follow that Mork and Mindy and would have trading cards if Happy Days did, since they're in the same family.
Definitely.
You had Kung Fu trading cards back in 73. Yeah. MASH had trading cards. Now, that's in the 80s, 82. But at that point, that had been around for almost a decade, and actually a little bit longer. If you
I think I saw Hawaii 5-0 trading cards.
I wouldn't be surprised if Hawaii 5-0 had trading cards. Space 1999 had trading cards.
Oh, yeah. Space 1999 was one of those sort of cult classic TV shows, because it only, if you remember, it only lasted, 2 seasons? because they wouldn't finance a third.
Welcome Back Kotter had a trading card. Oh, I'd kill for the John Travolta up your nose with a rubber hose rookie card. I don't know if that's a thing, but you got to think they took advantage of that. They had to have made a card of him saying that to Horshack or something like that. Brady Bunch had trading cards.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, Brady Bunch was very big. Hogan's Heroes. Moving on, before I get myself in a lot of trouble. Combat, the TV show Combat had trading cards back in '63.
Wow.
Oh, like I said, they did everything. But also, some of the older TV shows, they didn't actually get trading cards until the 90s. One example that we talked about, again, before we started going on the air, was there were I Love Lucy trading cards made by Pacific USA around 1991. Now, mind you, again, Lucy had been deceased at this point about 2 years.
Yeah.
But as I also told my cohorts, I remember my mother was a big Lucy fan. And for some reason, she had a set of the Lucy trading cards. Don't know. Yeah, she was that type of collector. You had Gunsmoke trading cards by Pacific back in 1993. Baywatch had trading cards. Don't know what that entailed. You had Pee-wee's Playhouse had some trading cards.
It did.
So they went to Saturday morning, and that was actually one of the first non-sports cards that I bought. And this is, again, about 30 plus years ago. Those were some wacky cards. It wasn't just cards. There were usually they had stickers with some of these cards and other little things that you could
foilies. Are we in the age of foilies yet?
Nah, we're not really in the age of foilies. Foil would come a little bit later. Right now, we're just basically talking plain cardboard up until maybe the late 80s. Then it was cardboard with a little bit of not necessarily lamination, but like a slick coating. So it wasn't matte; it was more of a glossy finish.
Huh. Gotcha.
Yeah, you can definitely see if you looking at when these cards were printed, or where in the timeline of trading cards they were made. Because if you're talking pretty much up until, again, the late 80s, early 90s, it's just plain matte cardboard, nothing fancy. And then around 91, that's where you start getting Upper Deck, not into play necessarily with non-sports cards, but they're the ones who brought the hologram technology, and they started having the glossy finish on cards. Same with Pacific, who we mentioned earlier. And again, that was about 91, 92-ish. And then as we go further, even 15 years later into 2005, 06, then we sort of get into more or less the contemporary version, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And that reminds me, Alf had not just one set of trading cards, he had 2 series of trading cards. Alf.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And actually, one thing I found, this is years ago, I found this while either moving or after I moved here and started unpacking. He also had a sticker collection. You could buy if you remember, and they still do this, I think, you could buy an album for like $1 at a supermarket or a comic book store.
Yeah.
And you get the stickers and you try to
build the stickers with the albums. Yo, man, I used to collect those things like crazy. My thing was always the Super Mario Brothers / Legend of Zelda sticker albums. I build up those stuffs.
Yeah, I was more of a baseball and football person back in the day, but this album, I'm going to guess it was my sister's because I don't remember ever purchasing it. She had an Alf sticker album, and it's not complete by any measure, but it's, again, just something very interesting, getting into the sticker realm now. Chips had trading cards in 79. Well, again, it's Chips. Who didn't like Eric Estrada back in the day?
It's like Eric Estrada and the other guy. Come on.
Yeah.
That don't you dare make fun of Larry Wilcox.
Oh, I thought we were going to say Chris Pine's dad.
No, Chris Pine's dad was the chief.
Yeah, Chris Pine's dad was the chief. Get that straight.
I'm sorry.
You best put respect on Robert Pine's name.
Yeah,
Oh,
Robert Pine was on Password Plus.
yes, I know, and that's your game show wings, Greg. I know.
No, my game show wings is Pressure Luck.
He's still waiting for season 3, ABC. Make it happen. Anyway.
And I'm still waiting on closure from the original run. I want to see the final episodes from 86 Buzzer. Come on.
So now your Pressure Luck is my beat the clock from '79.
Guys,
I've been waiting
guys,
30 years for see the final episode.
bring it back, y'all. Where are you guys? We're over here.
Yeah, we see you. American Gladiators. Now that's a natural fit right there. That's about as close to sports as non-sports cards get.
Oh,
American Gladiators. Oh my! And that was at the heyday, 1991.
Oh yeah.
That's about season 2, if I'm not mistaken. The introduction of Atmospheres and Hang Tough.
Planet of the Apes TV series
Oh yeah.
in
Which is a
'75.
yeah. By the way, the TV series is a future entry.
The Man from U.N.C.L.E. trading cards from 1965.
Oh yeah, Man from Uncle.
Yeah, and the thing you need to remember is, at least back in the day, Topps only did baseball cards and football cards. There were no basketball cards from Topps until I believe '92, and that lasted I think up until the mid 2000s. Because I know LeBron James had a rookie card through Topps, and I'm sure they had hockey as well, especially given their Canadian counterpart was O-Pee-Chee.
O-Pee-Chee.
And O-Pee-Chee, they released hockey cards every year for our friends up north.
Yeah, and they had the Canadian version of the baseball cards with O-Pee-Chee on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so Topps didn't have much going on. Let's say 9 months out of the year, because you had your first series of baseball cards, you'd have a follow-up series of baseball cards after people got traded and signed as free agents and whatnot, but those wouldn't be released until like August or September of the year, right near the end of the baseball season. And then right around that time is when football kicks into gear, so you'd have football cards being made in usually July or June of that year for the to cover the previous year. So they didn't have a lot in terms of trading cards back in the day. So hey, let's put out pop culture trading cards. Let's put out TV show trading cards. Let's put out movie trading cards. Like Star Wars. I mean, what can't you find online that's Star Wars? But then we get into the 90s. And again, this is where it sort of changes eras. We've gone from matte cardboard trading cards to now we have glossy trading cards. And then as we get into the 21st century, now we kick it up a notch. We've got different chase cards, different things to allure the collectors. And by that, I mean, we have swatch cards. Oh, look, here's a part of a shirt that somebody wore on a TV show. Or here's a part of a prop from a TV show, or there would be sketch cards, which are especially popular with cartoons specifically, but they go to other genres as well, primarily sci-fi. And then the big one, which a lot of people enjoy collecting, some people like the swatch cards, but a lot of people like the autograph cards.
Oh, yeah. Now, normally, I've seen these things, and they're either these cards that have like the autograph somehow lasered onto the card.
What he means is they were stickered onto the card.
Or they were actually autographed.
Well, I'm talking mainly about the real autographs.
The real ones?
I know what you're talking about. I've seen those. And that's been around, I think the first time I've seen that facsimile autograph would have been like 94 Upper Deck Collector's Choice Baseball. They had one card per pack, which had a silver version of the autograph of a player. And then one per box was a gold autograph. So that was like your ultimate chase card. You wanted to get like a Frank Thomas autograph, gold autograph card back in the day. But no, I'm talking real legitimate autographs. And most boxes nowadays, it seems like there's 2 autographs per box, 3 autographs. And the thing is, by no means is it a guarantee you're going to get the good star. So, if you're getting a Star Wars box, just for example, you may not be getting Mark Hamill or Carrie Fisher. You may be getting like Jedi number 2 or something like that. Just throwing out a name. I don't know if there are more than 2 Jedis or maybe you get some sort of Ewok not named Warwick Davis.
Okay, that makes sense.
Well, the thing is, if every box had a Mark Hamill card, everybody would be buying them, and there'd be no value to it necessarily. They usually limit the number of good autographs because they want you to try and buy more cards to get the good autographs.
So if you buy a pack, you get the autograph of the guy that held the ice cream maker in Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
Now I'm not even joking. There's a scene in The Empire Strikes Back where a guy's holding an ice cream maker.
Okay, I'm trying to wrap my brain around that one. And
good luck with that one.
There's a big lore about this because they made the ice cream maker like this important thing that this guy had to protect. And it's Star Wars canon. They made the ice cream maker prop canon and made it like this important thing that this guy had to protect.
But is it on a card?
It might be. Who knows?
Well,
basically, every Binder Star Wars character has a card. Let's be honest.
Oh yeah. Oh, and the thing is that's sort of the case with a lot of the TV sets. Yeah, I mean, you can have cards of your main stars, but also at the same time, you're going to get some, cards of bit players or I don't even want to say guest stars, people who made one appearance on the TV show, and they happen to be chatting with again going back to like Welcome Back, Kotter. Oh, they happen to be in the photo talking with John Travolta or Ron Palillo or you get the point. But there's actually 2 contemporary types of cards I want to talk about. There's still cards that are devoted to single TV shows, and one that's going to be coming up, I believe in May, and I told my compatriots here about this, is a Mandalorian Season 2 trading card set.
Yes!
And it comes in a container, a box, that looks like the child.
Because how else are you going to buy it? How else are you going to know it exists?
Why else are you going to buy it if it doesn't have the child on it? And again, that's coming out in May. But there is a Mandalorian Season 1 out, and I don't know what this character is because I don't know jack
Okay,
about
you know
Star
what?
Wars.
Give it to Greg and me. We'll figure it out.
Put it on the screen share.
Put it on the screen share.
It looks like a Boba Fett helmet.
Put it on the screen.
Put it on the screen, damn it.
Okay.
Put it on the screen.
Wait.
I want to see this. I want to see what you're trying to show us here.
Oh, that's the Mandalorian.
Oh, that's Mando. That's Mando's helmet.
That's the Mandalorian, silly.
Okay, I don't watch The Mandalorian. I'm sorry.
What do you think the show is called?
That's the guy. His name is in the title, Mike.
His name is in the title of the show.
I thought The Mandalorian was Baby Yoda. What do I know? I'm sorry.
Oh my God! Really? Now I'm thinking back to a meme of Adam Driver and the child like Mandalorian. Mandalorian. Baby Yoda show!
Okay, so while I repent quietly over here, so there's actually 100 base cards in that set, and every box comes with either an autograph or a sketch card, and usually sketch cards are one of one, so I'm going to assume that every box comes with an autograph.
Yes,
and hopefully it's one of Jon Favreau, but.
Or Pedro
again, you never know.
Or Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, actually, I saw on eBay, and this again, not eBay Price is Right, that the person who plays the Mandalorian said Pablo Pascal.
Pedro
Pascal. He's in
Pedro,
Wonder Woman
okay.
84. If you haven't seen it yet.
Oh, okay.
And also, guys, Pedro Pascal. Speaking of Wonder Woman, is in future installment, the Wonder Woman 2011 pilot.
This is true. This is true.
Okay, I wasn't even going anywhere near there. But on eBay is a Pablo Pascal and
Pedro.
whoever Pedro Pascal and now you almost just got me frazzled there. Pedro Pascal and Nick Nolte autograph card.
Yes,
a 1 of 1, and it's the buy it now on it is like $1,000.
What?
That is a steal. In honesty, that is a steal.
Nick Nolte and the Mandalorian for $1,000. Yeah, you're not going to get any cheaper than that.
I'd be willing to pay $1,000 for.
It's like, are you willing to pay this $1,000 for that card?
I would pay $1,000 for Pedro Pascal and the coach from Blue Chips
with his hair all made up.
Yeah,
because there are pictures of his hair not being made up.
Didn't think I'd make a Blue Chips reference on this podcast, did you?
Why not? You were making a Shaquille O'Neal reference a few minutes ago.
Yeah, I made the Shaquille O'Neal rookie card reference. So, but most of the trading card sets nowadays are science fiction. That is really where the big genre is. But that still doesn't stop other TV shows from having trading cards. I know there was a Family Guy trading card a number of years ago.
Yes.
And it did have autographs of like Seth MacFarlane and Mila Kunis and Alex Borstein. There were sketch cards, which again are generally 1 of 1. They're unique.
I bet, and especially the Alex Borstein ones are probably going for a good chunk considering this Maisel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Absolutely, and Seth Green because of the Rallies commercials he did 30 years ago.
Cha-ching, cha-ching.
Cryptozoic, I believe, is the name of the company. They do most of your pop culture trading cards nowadays. They've got the Breaking Bad sets. I think I want to say they have the Mad Men sets. If I'm not mistaken. No, they don't have the Mad Men sets.
Them and Rittenhouse are the 2 big ones nowadays.
Yeah. Oh,
and Rittenhouse did like Game of Thrones. They did a number of boxes for Game of Thrones. They did Lost in Space, Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
Now, when you say Lost in Space, is this the classic one?
Or the Netflix reboot.
Or the Netflix reboot.
I'm going to guess the Netflix reboot. Lost in Space season 1, so that tells me it's the Netflix reboot.
Okay.
But and this is one that Greg and I know talked about months ago. The Twilight Zone cards. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there were Twilight Zone cards last year, and that actually goes back to the old Twilight Zone, not the reboot with Jordan Peele or the 80s version. No, this goes back to the 60s version, and I believe among the cards that was in that set, in terms of autographs, I think Orson Bean was in there. I think that was one of the last things that he did before he passed away.
Oh.
Yeah, Orson Bean's in there. Taking a look, William Shatner, Bill Mummy, George Takei, Ann Jillian. Yeah. So, I mean, you've got some quality names in there. And these boxes, there's 2 autographs per box and 1 inscription autograph. So it sounds like there's 3 autographs. I may actually buy some of this. It's only $65.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, my gosh. That's a heck of a lot better deal than what I'm seeing for football cards nowadays, specifically the box of cards that went for $140 2 years ago, that this year, sit down, I'm not even joking about this, $730 a box.
What?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Dude,
okay,
you spent more on less.
Well, the thing is, when we get to the situation where it's, oh, do I want to pay my mortgage this month? Or do I want a box of football cards? Yeah, the hobby is outpricing me.
Yeah.
But yeah, $730, and that was online at Dave and Adams, which is the biggest card seller in the world for boxes. I can only imagine how much they'd be going for at the local level, because usually Dave and Adams undercuts the competition. So they may be $800 cards down the street or $750 cards.
Hey, guys. Guess what had cards from Rittenhouse?
What's that?
You ready?
Uh-huh.
Twin Peaks had cards from Rittenhouse.
There
back in
you go.
2017. When the-
yeah.
We're just gonna let Greg enjoy himself for a while.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at all the autograph cards from Twin Peaks, and it's it's amazing.
It's a shame my sister isn't into trading cards because Cryptozoic has Outlander trading cards.
Oh my God, they have a Jim Belushi autographed Twin Peaks card on eBay for like $50.
Yeah, I mean, everybody signed trading cards. I'm looking here. Lee Merriweather signed Time Tunnel trading cards.
Oh yeah.
What? Nice.
Yeah. Lucy Lawless and Jerry Ryan did trading cards. And I think I did see Xena trading cards, but I don't think these are associated with the Xena trading cards. Yeah. This is Rittenhouse. Again, I don't know the name. I've never seen them at my local shop. My local shop really doesn't do much in terms of non-sports cards, but we'll get to that in a second. And Rittenhouse has a lot of the pop culture references. Like I said, Twilight Zone, the current Lost in Space, but then you have Cryptozoic. Chico mentioned The Walking Dead and Breaking Bad
and Outlander.
They also have Steven Universe cards, The Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
Rick and Morty. Oh, and gosh knows Rick and Morty is red hot, even more popular than Steven Universe, to say the least. And actually, I'm taking a look. One of the cards that they have for sale here is from Psych. It's a Jaleel White autograph card, $29.
Yeah.
I might just be buying. Wait, I was gonna say that, but then I ran into the Orphan Black trading cards. I'm like, oh God, now what?
Oh, great. We're going to max out his credit cards. But yeah, there's just so many trading cards for different series. And if you can't decide, what TV show you want to get, back in 2007, and this is sort of like the birth of this episode when Greg and I have talked about this over the years, Donruss, which is now Panini America, released a non-sports entertainment card set called Americana. And it's Americana in the sense that you have some politicians and you've got some very interesting people in there, but the big draw was there were plenty of TV and movie stars in there. Yep. And Greg and I, for years now, again, this was first released about 13 and a half years ago. It was summer of 2007. A lot of people have passed away.
Yes.
That were in that set. And I used to call it some sort of jinx or curse, because one of the people who didn't even get a chance to fulfill redemption obligations, or he didn't even sign the autographs as far as I know, was Bernie Mac. Bernie Mac was in the initial Americana set, and he didn't fulfill his card. So what they do for that is they put in redemption cards and say, okay, redeem it within 2 years. And, once this person signs, we'll return the autograph card to you and make everything kosher. And Bernie Mac never fulfilled his cards because he passed away. But also, just again, among the names in this set who aren't with us anymore, Regis Philbin was either in the first series or the second series and definitely autographed some cards.
Yes.
And you had Ed McMahon. Yeah, Ed McMahon, remember, this is the time he was doing cashforgold.com ads.
With MC Hammer.
Yeah.
Brothers got to make a buck somehow.
MC can't buy a hammer.
Dom DeLuise was in this set.
Oh, yeah.
Esther Williams, now I know, again, I think she was in the second set versus the first. She was had some autograph cards in there. And actually, the first pack of cards that I bought of this, and this got me hooked on this series, was a Burt Reynolds autograph. And obviously, Burt Reynolds isn't with us anymore, but Burt Reynolds was like the biggest thing going on TV and movies in the 1970s. So that sort of hit a chord. It's like, oh my gosh, Burt friggin' Reynolds signed this.
Nice.
Just some other people over the years. Mickey Rooney had some signed cards. Jerry Lewis too, and Jerry Lewis was pretty much, from what I've heard, when off stage. So good luck trying to get an autograph from him back in the day. Yeah, they're both gone. They had signed cards. In the second series, Ron Palillo signed some cards, and he died not terribly long after that series came out. That was, I think, 09, maybe 08. But Ron Palillo, I think, passed away. It's been close to 10 years, I think, now.
Really?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it seems like only yesterday, but yeah.
Yeah. We should note that between the time this episode was recorded and the time this episode was edited, we lost Larry King, and Larry King actually had a card within the first couple of sets of Americana. So the big draw with this was, at least for the hobby boxes, you got 4 packs of cards per box, and there's like 10 cards per pack. But every pack had either a swatch card or an autograph card. Or if you got lucky, you got an autograph swatch card. And the thing is, it didn't just cover TV shows. It covered movies. There were swatches of Marilyn Monroe dresses in the first series. You had basically a bunch of old-time movie stars in the first couple of series, especially the second series when they got to like Marlon Brando and some of the big names from the 50s. But this gave collectors a chance to own a piece of some legends. And I think it was from the Debbie Reynolds collection. And Debbie Reynolds definitely had an autograph card and swatch cards in the Americana series. So I'm sure that, Don Russ / Panini America went to her and said, "Oh, yeah, how much will you take for this shirt that Marilyn Monroe wore, or this blouse?" "Oh, okay." And what they do is buy the product and then slice it up into hundreds of little squares and basically glue them into the cards. So that really, I love those cards. And they do occasionally make Americana cards. They really, I don't think they've done it for a number of years. The last ones I saw were probably about 4 or 5 years ago. And that got more into history than entertainment, because I remember one of the big draws was a subset of Tuskegee Airmen cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very historic. And we've actually, over the last number of years, we've lost a number of the Tuskegee Airmen, and they had signed some of the cards in that set.
I'm actually holding in my hand from Donruss Americana a card from someone who passed away, I think within like the last year or so. But I got this on eBay for I want to say like $10, $15 like 2 years ago. John Saxon.
Yeah, he was in the first series of Americana. I remember that, yes.
Yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street, Enter the Dragon.
Even, if the person's not deceased, there were a lot of good names in that first series. That's what really blew me away is you had autographs of people like Vicki Lawrence. You had Wink Martindale in there.
Oh, yeah. Bob Eubanks.
Eubanks. Yeah. As much as we may not like saying this name, Chuck Woolery had a card, an autograph card in there. You had a great diversity of names and good names, big names.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, for lack of a better phrase, you had older names because, again, a lot of people have passed away from that set, and it's only like 13 and a half years old.
Yeah. Didn't you? I think Ultimate Warrior was in that set.
I've got an autograph card of his, and my cousin, who probably doesn't listen to this, he's laid claim to that for like 10 years because he knows how expensive that card is.
Oh, yeah, it definitely is.
Oh, it's crazy expensive. It goes for, I think last time I checked was like $300 for the autograph card, and it's like, okay, I'm going to just sit on this, and then I'm not even going to say, hey, you want to buy this for $250? Cuz I'm going to just give it to him. Hey, that's a good idea for Christmas next year. That he'll just flip out over that.
Oh yeah.
But so the Americana sets, there's been a couple over the years, but they've sort of shifted. They've stayed sort of in the entertainment, but they've added different subsets where it's truly Americana and it's not just entertainment. And actually, one of the historic moments, at least in my opinion, I opened a number of Americana boxes. This is almost 10 years ago at this point. And the one draw for me was autograph cards of Leslie Nielsen, who had passed away about a year earlier. So he pre-signed them. And you got to notice about these cards. Most of the cards aren't signed on the card. They sign these little stickers, and then the stickers are applied to the cards.
Oh, I thought they were lasered on.
No, no, oh no, 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 no. There's transparent stickers, usually with some sort of hologram built into them for anti-counterfeiting, and they sign these stickers like sheets of stickers, and then I don't know if it's put on manually or automatically. I'm going to assume automatically because you don't want to get fingerprints under the sticky residue of the stickers. And he signed these cards or these labels, these stickers before his death. And a year later or 6 months later, when this Americana series, which I believe was the third series of Americana, was released, there's Leslie Nielsen autograph cards. And lo and behold, I pulled a Leslie Nielsen autograph card.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have much value, but the thing is, The Naked Gun is like my seminal movie from growing up. So pulling a Leslie Nielsen autograph card was, I was over the moon. I don't care if it had very little value. It had value to me, and that's really all that matters.
And isn't it like an unusual ink he signed it with too on your card?
It was green. It was a green Sharpie. Yeah. And sometimes, green variations or red variations have some sort of premium attached to it, even if it's not official variations. If it's something within the hobby that they say, oh, the green is 5 times rarer than the red. People can make their own sort of subsets based on that or values. Oh, well, the green one's rare, so I'm going to pay more for that. Yeah, I don't care one way or the other, unless maybe if I was the seller making more money off of it. But looking at Americana, I don't know if they just stopped doing it, but also they may have stopped doing it just for one thing, is Panini America has gotten so huge. They have the rights to all the football cards, and they still do the occasional baseball cards, I believe.
They do a lot of basketball cards.
They've got the rights to the basketball cards.
Yeah, the baseball is MLBPA only because the MLB license, I believe, is still with Topps.
Primarily, but I'm just thinking in previous years, even recently, 2017, 2016, Donruss would have a draft series, Donruss Elite Baseball. So, if they lost all the baseball rights in the last 3 or 4 years, I understand that.
I've actually been trying to look for any of the Americana cards after 2015. Couldn't find it. So I guess you could say 2015 was the last year for the Donruss / Panini Americana series. Yeah,
it's very possible. And like I said, they sort of veered away from being the entertainment card to being more historic, which, I mean, I appreciate that. And I think that's a great idea, but history is not going to sell so big when you have TV stars and movie stars. And I don't know, maybe it'll come back one day, but again, they've got versions of basketball cards and baseball cards going out like on a weekly basis. And they're making money hand over fist on those cards, especially given the last couple of rookie classes in the NFL and the NBA. Well, I think it's time for eBay Prices Right, and I've got a very special one today for you guys.
Can't wait.
This one I think is maybe the most genius Prices Right item we've ever had. Let's play the music, and we'll start the bidding.
Here we go.
Okay, guys, this is something very interesting I found while looking at cards on eBay today for this show. This is, and I want you to listen very carefully, this is a wrapper from the 1959 Three Stooges card set I mentioned earlier.
This isn't the cards, it's the wrapper.
Just the wrapper, okay? Just the wrapper. There's no holes, no tears in the wrapper. It looks pretty flat. Looks like it's in good condition for being 62 years old at this point. It sold for 5 cents originally. The cards were done by Fleer. And also, I should let you know, these sold on November 30th of 2020. and I want you to give me the final selling price of just this wrapper, not the cards. It's just the wrapper. Okay?
Okay.
I'm going to start with Greg. Dollars and cents. How much did this wrapper from 1959 sell for?
$69.99.
Nice.
Yes, Chico. What would you like to bid?
84.20.
84.20. Oh, jeez.
We are
what am I going to
adults.
do with you two?
We are adults, Greg and I.
Okay. I'm just going to warn you right now. Please make sure you're sitting. Make sure your bowels are clenched.
Yeah.
This wrapper.
Not the cards, just the wrapper.
I'm going to be way off on
We're
this.
going to be talking. We're talking about the wrapper, not the cards, not the cards, not the cards.
Yeah,
We're talking about the wrapper.
The flattened wrapper with no rips, no holes, no tears. Oh my gosh. You guys are so far off. And again, I hope you're sitting. $689.99.
Oh, Jesus.
Jesus!
For a wrapper.
For a wrapper. Not the cards. Not the cards that you go out and collect. Just the wrapper. We're talking about the wrapper.
We're
talking
$700
about
almost.
the wrapper.
Yes, was $700 almost.
Not the cards. Not the cards that you put in the binder. We're talking about the wrapper.
Just the wrapper. And the thing is, if you look at the Three Stooges set or the cards on eBay, those go for a pretty penny too.
How the hell can I make money off a wrapper?
Collectors would definitely buy that, just because, again, remember, the cards were generally opened and then stored away, and the wrappers were thrown away. So that gives the wrappers some rarity. People didn't really hold on to card wrappers back in 1959. And the same holds true for boxes. The display boxes, people didn't hold on to those. So if you've got a box from, from anything from the 50s or 60s and even the 70s, those boxes have value, especially if you have somebody who has, let's say, 36 loose packs of cards and needs a box to put them in, or make it look like they're originally from. Yeah, those boxes can sell, because, again, what stores generally did is, they ran out of cards. They disposed of the box. They broke down the cardboard box and put out a new one. So yeah, they didn't care about the box. But yeah, $700. So yeah, again, sort of like the football cards I mentioned earlier. Do I spend my money on my mortgage this month, or do I buy that Three Stooges wrapper? Tough call there.
Indeed.
Well, I know we didn't cover all the trading cards, and gosh, we could be here all day talking about movies and comic book trading cards, even if they're loosely associated with TV shows. But we give you a fair overview of cards over the years. And needless to say, they're big bucks for some of these companies. Like I said, Ritterhouse and Cryptozoic, they don't do sports cards. Their field of expertise is cards like this. And then you had Donruss doing a little bit of dabbling on the side, and Topps doing a little bit of dabbling in non-sports cards. But it's big business, and especially nowadays where every box has one or two autographed cards. You can easily try to chase your favorite star's autograph. It may be a real long shot, but people are willing to do it for $100, $200 a crack. And and believe it or not, these trading cards, whether they're new or they're 70 years old, they may have been things on TV, but they're pieces of TV history that you can own, you can hold.
I want to say there's a lot more to these TV trading card stuff, but for about 45 minutes, you know enough to get started.
Yeah, have fun searching on eBay TV trading cards. Or again, you can look up some of the individual shows we mentioned. Like I said, we mentioned the Gong Show, and actually somebody said, "Oh, I was going to do a eBay Price Right with Gong Show trading cards," and I stopped him right there and said, "Nope, I've already looked at all the Gong Show trading card auctions on eBay. I don't want to claim to have cheated, but I don't want to ruin the game. Plus, also, I'm sorry, the Three Stooges wrapper for $700, mind blown.
Yeah, we're talking about the wrapper, not the cards, the wrapper. Anyway, enough of me doing my Allen Iverson. Let's wrap this up, Mike.
Yeah, let's just remind everybody our website, itwasthethingontv.com. We recently hit 16,000 total downloads, which is great, and we really appreciate that. And obviously, all our past episodes are there. We've got, 129 episodes besides this, plus we've got the live shows, and we've got the mini-sodes, and also don't forget our socials. We have Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. And coming up next on Thursday, again, we're not doing a TV show. This week is sort of the thematic episodes, talking about stuff related to television. Well, what we're going to talk about is a person related to television, and maybe not a person that you necessarily know, but was definitely a character.
People of a certain age watching the afternoon lunchtime news would know of this character, and what can we say except, ooh, it's so good.
Yeah, and this person has made appearances beyond just what Chico mentioned, and I think he's a fascinating character, and it's one of those things that I remember seeing on TV 20, 30 years ago, and it's like, okay, this person is obscure enough to be a topic for our podcast. Let's do it. So we're doing it on Thursday, and you'll have to come by and see what we're talking about. Again, thank you for listening, and don't forget, subscribe, rate and review, 5 stars. Anything below 4, Chico will come to your house with a crowbar to knock your knees out.
Even though we haven't had a review in like 4 months.
And besides that, I think the new coach of the Lions pretty much ruined kneecaps for everyone.
Oh, no.
Hey, that's why they're going to be 5-11 the next 3 years, kids.
Okay.
Well, they're going to be 5-11 for the next 3 years because they're the Lions. But anywho, also don't forget the YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube feed. As Chico would say, ring our bell. Ding! Dingy, dingy, dingy. And you'll be caught up with all the episodes. So until Thursday, again, thank you for listening, and we'll catch you then Thursday with the new episode of It Was the Thing on TV.
Wow!
Milhouse, I gotta have my soul back. I'll do anything you want.
Milhouse, give him back his soul. I've got work tomorrow.
I'm really sorry. I kinda traded your soul to the guy at the comic book store. But look, I got some cool pogs. Elf pogs. Remember Elf? He's back. In pod form. You traded my soul for pogs?